Hello. Let's give it a few seconds, and then we can start. Hello, everybody. So this is 12th of September 2022, Delivery Stuff Weekly. We have some announcement. We have our Ask Me Anything for this month, the 14th of September. Please, if you have any questions, bring your questions and attend as much as you can. So maybe you can also be able to provide some answer if you can. The agenda is already up, so I think it's already be able to add some questions, or at least review the question already be added. I added also as more reminder about the Q2 retro form, the Google form that was shared in the issue last week. I saw that we have only 4 answers. I don't know who, because it's anonymous, but it would be great if we can get to close to 100% participation. So we have some statistically significant basis for that. Then there are some people taking some day off, so enjoy those day off that you are taking. And I guess we can move to the discussion point. Amy, do you want to verbalize yours?
Yes, thank you. So I wanted to just firstly check everyone had seen this, but also see if anyone had any comments or questions or things they wanted to discuss on this call around the proposed terminology that orchestration have come up with following kind of our analysis. So what happened, sort of context on where we came to for this, is we started analyzing how component deployments currently work. And we had some difficulties because it turns out a lot of our terms are very overloaded. When we say release, it can mean lots of different things to different people, for example. So we started thinking about what terminology could we use to help it be clear for ourselves, but also as we go forwards and we get more stage groups involved, how we can make it clear for other people. So this issue has the proposed terms. One thing I do particularly want to hear people's thoughts on is this gives us a bit of a switch away from using self-serve deployments, which is the term we've been using up until now for sort of what we're working towards. So in this case, this will move us into using independent deployments. And the thinking behind that was it gives a bit more clarity around the fact that we're giving people a fully isolated pipeline that would take their component through to production. We're not giving them the ability to operate the auto deploy pipeline, for example. That would still remain as is. So we wanted to put a little bit of separation between those things.
Thank you, Amy.
Does anybody have any so I guess just maybe a quick show of thumbs, like overall, I know some of you may want to read, but like overall, do people feel positive, neutral, concerned?
I feel positive about that.
Great. All positive. Excellent. Great stuff. That's great to hear. So also, please do feel like you can continue to make proposals on this issue. It is a proposals issue. That is just the one I wanted to really lock in, because with that switch, what I'll do is update the blueprint and other things where we've been talking about self-serve deployments. Now, specifically, I'm asking you all this today because we have an AMA on Wednesday. So we'll be updating our terminology for the AMA to talk to teams around independent deployments so they can start to get on the same page.
Thank you. release managers. So I guess we can do the walkthrough. Myra, you want me to do the honors? Okay. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Perfect. So we actually started to have some problems last week around the 8th. So something to remind myself and also probably feature release managers to add annotation to the graph. So when I had this call, it's much easier to understand what happened. We started some incidents that blocked us actually, and we had some problems during the 8th. I was looking exactly for what, but I still didn't find it. But anyway, last week we had some incident and some blockers that we had about some pipelines that were failing, and we only had like a few promotions during the day. Even if it looks like pretty big gap, that I would expect that we had some deployments, but for sure, at least in the night between the 8th and the 9th, there were no deployments at all. I remember Gray mentioning this because we had a fixed AMER that actually was blocking everything. We should have picked it up to fix the problem. And then we recovered later on during the end of the week. And then clearly we went back down to for the weekend for we stopped the auto deploy and so on. Today I actually promoted something that I should not promoted. I just learned it today. I trust the bot very, very much. So we have actually something more that is coming up. We're going to have a gap between the tag package and the one that we need to promote. So GitLab deployment frequency. Deployment frequency more or less look the same with the same pattern. Actually, we have an extra deployment during this week. Usually we stop to 8, 9, looks like we touched 10 last week. So I don't see any big changes here. And for the lead time, so we have actually pretty big lead time, but this is probably due to the extended RPCL plus soft PCL that we went from Thursday to the Monday. But apart from that, the pattern looks more or less the same. Anything to add? Anybody? So let's learn for me add more annotation during my shift to the Grafana. Deployment blockers. I still didn't do my homeworks for the blockers for last week. Mara, did you get the chance to do that?
Yep, they all have labels as far as I know.
Great. Did you manage to update the issue and the Google Sheet?
No, I only added the labels.
Okay, maybe then I'm gonna maybe we can have maybe a sync call. I show you what I usually me and Amy are doing on that, and then so we can do it together. Thank you.
If it's possible, could we get that done before around my midday tomorrow? Because we have the key metrics meeting on Wednesday, and because of that PCL, the MTTP is super high. So we want to be able to point to the data that explains why, so that Steve has the information for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else someone wants to bring up into the recording? Stop the recording.